Well, good evening, Hume City fans, and welcome to Nassau Stadium, the home of your Hume City FC. Tonight, we're going to battle against Avondale FC, and we need you, the Red and White Army, to bring the noise and support the boys as they fight for 3 points. Before we get into the action, we'd like to take a moment to thank our amazing sponsors who make nights like these possible. Nassau, Palermo Perfumes, Zuby Finance, Chenol, The Graham Hotel, Tech Foods, Clearview Windows, Grand Foods, MacBuild, Straight Line, Aviso Specialty, Boss Signs, AS Lodge Tennis Courts, RHF Stones, Roxburgh Park Hotel, State Claims, Sultan Halal Meat and Small Goods, Altenbush, Brody Motors, Checklab, Diarcos, Optimum Building Services, Plastercore, Portable... Ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for tonight: Hume City FC, number 1, Michael Weir; number 2, Joseph Ford; number 3, Zahir Addis; number 5, Mason Tatafu; number 6, Aaron Reardon; number 9, Godfrey Debele; number 10, Burkan Kurda; number 11, Josh Bingham; number 14, Harry Ascroft; number 23, Asen Ishak; and number 45, Rob Harker. And ladies and gentlemen, Avondale FC lineup for tonight: Manuel Agag, Yusuf Ahmed, Aidan Rice, Blake Carpenter, Jackson Courtney Perkins, Clan Hugh, Daniel Edwards, Kalalo Kamara, Thomas Manos, Mayan, Ethan Pisani, Matthew Reed, Luca Taveri, Christian Chudevsky, Stefan Valentini, Emlyn Wellsmore, and Stefan Zini.
Hey Doc, how are you? Congrats on the 150. How'd you go getting through the banner? Wasn't too hard? So good. My head, I'm like, I didn't knock your balls over. You guys see Curry there? Were you commentating?
Well, hello and welcome. NPL Victoria round 21 Friday night football as 5th placed Hume City are hosting 2nd placed Avondale here at Nassiol Stadium in Melbourne's north. Avondale could go top of the tree tonight at least with a win by virtue of goal difference over Heidelberg, who don't play until tomorrow. Hume City need to get the points as well to keep ahead of the chasing pack as they battle to hang on for their spot in the top 6. Looking forward to bringing you all the action tonight. My name is Steve Curtin, and as the players are about to enter the field of play here at the splendid Nassiol Stadium in West Meadows, we'll take a short break for the promo and we'll be back with the team news after that. Well, welcome back to Nassiol Stadium. We'll get to the team news now. And for Nick Hegarty's Hume City, there's 2 changes to the side that went down by 2-1 last week at Lakeside Stadium against South Melbourne. And we see a first start for new signing Mason Tatafu, joining from the United States in the mid-season window. There's also a start for Josh Bingham, who comes into the attacking midfield role. Michael Weir resuming in goal. In defence, joining Tatafu is Ishak. The other new signings are Addis and Joseph Ford at right back. Harry Ashcroft is expected to step into defensive midfield alongside Aaron Reardon, and supporting Rob Harker, it's Burkan Kurta, Josh Bingham and Godfrey DeBelle. Now let's have a look at that Avondale side. There's just one change to the side that was held against Dandenong Thunder at Avenger Park last week. Tom Manos resuming in goal, the back 4 of Wellsmore, Kamara, the captain Aidan Bryce and Dan Edwards as well. Christian Trycheski, who returns from suspension. It feels like a merry-go-round in midfield. Ute Towns is out after picking up a 5th yellow card last week and providing a tremendous assist in the process for Luca Tavir. Luca Tavir holds his spot in midfield, as does Sian Cuba. The front 3, Stefan Valentini, Stefan Zinni, and leading the line is their top scorer, who's due for a goal tonight, Manny Agwek. Let's have a look at the substitutes benches now for Hume City. There's Lloyd Isgrove returning, who wasn't involved last week. He returns via the bench. Mark Oshing, Mehmet Usal and Damon Camilleri, the sub-keeper, all remaining on the bench. And one surprise on the team sheet, Josh O'Kane, who's played in every match so far for Hume City, drops to the bench this evening. Well, for Zoki Markowski, who coached game number 150 last week, his bench comprises of plenty of experience. Matthew Reid and Blake Carpenter continuing with their spots off the bench, as is Ethan Pisani and Jackson Courtney Perkins, Mayan, and there's a return to the bench for Yusuf Ahmed, a very welcome return at that, as Yusuf Ahmed returns after missing the last 3 games through injury. Our man in the middle tonight is Declan Woods, and he's about to get us underway. He's assisted tonight by Jordan English, Jackson Trundle and Daniel Woodyard. Is the 4th official, and it's Hume City playing to the Jacana Wetlands end, the city end of the venue. At the left of your screen in their all-red kits, and it's the all-change strip for Avondale, the all-white, playing to the northern end of the venue, the Macedon Rangers end, we'll call it, and that is the end where the cold breeze is blowing from tonight. And we're underway here with Christian Trycheski, fresh off a week off, and he's going to ask some questions straight away of this Hume City defence. Out wide, it's Valentini going to ground, and it's an easy decision. First up for Declan Woods, who indicates a goal kick, and big Michael Weir can get things going again here. So Nick Hegarty looking for his first win since returning to the club that he last coached here in 2022. Finished his playing days here, went into the technical area. A stint back in the UK, most recently at Grimsby Town. Also involved in the Welsh national team, the women's under-16 squad earlier this year too. So plenty of experience with some of the younger tiers of football. It was also a youth development role at Grimsby Town, I understand, there over on the eastern side of the UK, of England. And here's Reardon lining up here on the ball. So we can confirm that, as we predicted in the starting lineup, that Harry Ashcroft has stepped into defensive midfield. There's a chance for a ball to be played in by Zahi Addis. His first involvement. He was given the opportunity to start on his club debut last week at Lakeside Stadium, was Zahi Addis, the left back making the move. One of many players who've made the move down from Queensland, most recently with the Gold Coast, where he had 9 appearances this season. Gold Coast United, that is. He's also been at the Brisbane Roar under-21s. He's NPL Queensland title winner with the Gold Coast Knights, so he's played on both sides of the bright lights and the glitter strip of Australia's Gold Coast. Getting his chance at left back. It's a position that we've seen Mark Oshieng, the right-footed fullback, deployed there much of the season. Oshieng dropping to the bench in the last couple of weeks. Had a bit of a nasty hamstring injury a couple of weeks earlier as well, so a few players going down with 1 or 2 injuries, and we also saw Oliver Keelhard as well as the other player who doesn't start, that started last week for Hume City. He was subbed out just before the hour mark with a bit of hamstring awareness. He's not involved in the squad tonight. Here's a chance for Aaron Reardon. It's around 11 degrees here. Here's Hume's number 11. It was a good idea from Bingham, but he couldn't pick his pass to find Burkhan Kurtar. He looks to be playing in a role in the front 3 tonight. He's been versatile for his couple of coaches that he's had this season. Now under Nick Heckerty, previously Rick Marchioli, who's played as a deep lying midfielder. He's done well there. He's done well as a 10, and just look for him getting into the wide areas tonight. With Lloyd Isgrove starting on the bench, it's a little bit of a headache, that left wing position, where they don't really have an out-and-out option. Obviously, they went with Oliver Keelhard there last week, but he didn't go the distance, and they've opted to give Kurtar an opportunity to play off the left flank. So keep an eye on him coming in from the wide areas to support Rob Harker, and he might even play a little bit more inboard. We'll see, as perhaps both Bingham and Kurtar will maybe exchange positions a little bit. Winning it back well was De Ballet. Here's that man Kurtar. Full gas going forward is De Ballet. Tries to get the ball in. It's blocked behind by the Avondale captain for the first corner of the evening. Thanks for your company on the NPL Victoria live stream from Hume City Stadium, Nassiol Stadium as it's known these days, here in the Broadmeadows Valley Park. Good conditions for football. The breeze hasn't got up too much. It is favouring the left of your screen, the city end of the venue here. So we'll await the delivery to Tafu, the new signing. 191 centimetres of him is in the area. Bingham's the target. It's allowed to bounce in the penalty area. It sits up for Josh Bingham, who fires it straight at Manos. It's an awkward one for Manos to handle in close quarters with Kalalu Kamara. And Manos held his ground well and held on to the football to preserve the scoreline at 0-0 in the opening minutes here. Well, Avondale, that won't impress the Avondale coaching staff there in front of us. Noah Markowski, Andy Vargas and Jeff Fleming. It was allowed to bounce in the penalty area from the corner kick, and I'm sure that would be something that will be pointed out to the boys at halftime. Here's Trycheski running alongside, shoulder to shoulder with Ishak. This is a good run from Trycheski. Top of the box, it's Manny Agwek. And he couldn't have come much closer to opening the scoring there, Manny Agwek, as he forces a fine save out of big Michael Weir. Tried to beat the tall shot stopper at his near post, and Michael Weir was well and truly equal to the attempt from Manny Agwek, who hasn't scored in his last 4 games. He's due for a goal. He's been stuck on 13 goals in the league for a while. It was a really good first touch by Agwek to get it out of his feet and ahead of his opponent Mason Tatafu. Maybe he's just getting closer to finding his touch in front of goal again as Manny Agwek. It's going to be Dan Edwards to take the in-swing here. He decides to go short. Here's Luca Tavia, last week's goal scorer. It's a swift move past Ballet into the area, and he drives it. It was brave defending from the front, but Tavia's shot is saved again by Weir. It's a scrambly one on the goal line just about, and Avondale well, they've come close to scoring again for as many times in as many minutes. So action at both ends in the 6-yard box in the opening exchanges of this one in the first 6 minutes. And the waves of attack keep coming at Michael Weir's goal here. Valentini is the player out on the far side. This is Edwards. It was a good corner kick by him a few moments ago, and an even better bit of craft and guile by Luca Tavir to waltz into the penalty area. Walked around Godfrey DeBelli like he wasn't even there. Trycheski, he's been everywhere so far in the opening exchanges. Valentini back to goal, turns the snapshot. And it's well blocked by Reardon. Wellsmore, the right back, getting the ball going forward quickly. Manny Agwet with the back to goal. And here's the new signing, Zahi Addis, showing a clean pair of heels to that Avondale attack line, but he's lost out possession. And now Stefan Zinni on the ball. Combines with Wellsmore on the overlap. This is a good construct by Avondale. It's going to land for Valentini. It's a bit scrappy. Not the first time we've observed that so far. That's back four for Hume City. A couple of new faces with the two new signings that they brought in. Both defenders, Addis and Tatafu, trying to complement Ishak and Ford in that back four. Ford also, incidentally, another player who's come in this calendar year as well, or in the last off-season. So plenty of new faces there. Michael Weir as well, who's been away from the club. He's back again, back under Nick Hegarty. One of a few players, including Josh Bingham and Mark Oshieng, who were here last time that Nick Hegarty was in charge. That one's out of play. Plenty of football going on around the grounds tonight as well. A couple of kickoffs, a couple of games already underway over at Green Gully Reserve. Cavaliers hosting Melbourne Victory, and also Dandenong City are hosting South Melbourne down there at Frank Holohan. I do hope you're enjoying this wherever you're tuning in. Hello to Kate, who's in the townhouse tonight, enjoying the extra sound effects coming through on the live stream. And there's plenty of chat going on in the technical areas in front of us. Both coaches up on their feet early trying to sort it out, because defensively it hasn't been a masterclass by either side, you'd say, in the opening minutes. So they're looking to tighten up. Here's Burkan Kurta, who's lost his footing, but he was able to react really well and really quickly. Tatafu. Played forward by Ashcroft on the far side. So you can see the rotation of positions already. Ashcroft lining up, normally a central defender, lining up in central midfield, dropping into cover right back, and Joseph Ford really bombing on to make an extra player and an overload down that right flank. Over on the far side. Plenty of people gathered in the venue tonight as well. A lot of them behind the glass keeping warm, but as always, great cuisine on offer in the canteen, and the bar was quite busy as well for both cold and warm beverages tonight, as you'd imagine on an evening like this. It is just sitting on 11 degrees here at West Meadows currently, so really good conditions for the players. It's a little chilly for the fans, but one of the best viewing grounds you can come to. You can come out here and sit in the elevated grandstand over there on the far side. A great view of the action from an elevated position. An even better view on the live stream tonight. Bernard behind the camera, top of the tree here on the gantry, giving you great observation of what's going on out there. So keep an eye on the tactics deployed by two of the top coaches going around in the competition. Zoki Markowski, as we said, bringing up game number 150 with Avondale last week. Been a consistent and steady force with the boys in blue for so long. Always contending, maybe not winning as many trophies as he'd like to, but an opportunity presents this season. As we said, just 3 points behind Heidelberg going into this round 21. And they've got a lot of cup action coming up as well, so we'll run you through some of their upcoming fixtures later in the broadcast. So Tafu was under a little bit of pressure from Valentini there, but he was able to find Joseph Ford. Those two West Aussies linking up again. have a good understanding after being together in the Perth Glory system a few years ago. So Tafu returning to the east coast of Australia via a stint on the east coast of the United States. A bit of football in New York, Long Island area. He's played for a few different clubs based in academia and otherwise over there has Mason Tatafu. He made 3 A-League men's appearances with Perth Glory. He got his debut in that ACL Hub tournament in 2020 against Ulsan, the Korea side. It's an impressive list of American clubs. The Long Island Rough Riders, the Hostrafa Pride, another club based in Long Island, and the Des Moines Menace, just to name a few, as well as the Louisville Cardinals, where he played 14 matches and scored 1 goal in 2024. Look at the pace from Valentini here, turning on the afterburner. Should I say it's Stefan Zinni across the face of goal. Well, the Pistons were pumping there for Stefan Zinni, going through the gears and showing a clean pair of heels to that Hume defence. Michael Weir relieved to see that one. It was well off target in the end. So Stefan Zinni, another player who some critics have said maybe he's lacked a little bit of confidence in recent weeks. Well, that run there, a really successful dribble. We'll put that down in the successful dribble stat for sure. That one might give him a little bit of confidence there. Playing to his strengths at full speed again. Just needing the finish. Kamara's ball forward. Decent goal. He scored the central defender at PT Connor Reserve a couple of weeks ago to give Avondale a share of the points. They've been the draw specialist in recent weeks. A couple of 1-1s in a row. 2-2 against St Albans. Are also deadlocked against Dandenong Thunder in the Cup after 90 minutes as well. It took a double from Stefan Valentini in extra time for them to get through to the national round of 32 in the Australia Cup and the Doherty Cup semi-finals. So some really big fixtures coming up for Avondale in Cup football. So the Doherty Cup semi will be coming your way next weekend on the Football Victoria live stream from Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne hosting that fixture Saturday night at 6 p.m. And that will follow on from the earlier kickoff time, which features Heidelberg United, the league leaders of the top tier, against third tier side Nunawading City, who've defied all the odds this season in the cup competition. Just sitting lower mid-table in the VPL2, Victoria's third tier. But they've got the opportunity to take on the league leaders of the top tier, but also a trip coming up to Darwin where they'll play in the Australia Cup National Round of 32. And well, I could think of worse places I'd like to be travelling this time of year, as the winter has certainly taken hold in Victoria. The warm and humid conditions for the boys from Nunawading up there. That's a silky first touch by Trycheski off the shoulder, across the face of the goal. Valentini was arriving, but Joseph Ford had his measure at the back post and was able to let it run out of play. So Trycheski has been a little bit of a handful so far for the Hume defence. You just don't quite know where he's going to pop up next. Floating in between the lines across the full width of the park, sometimes left, sometimes right. And here's his role here without the ball, is to play a part in the press alongside Manny Agwick as the most advanced duo at the front of the press. We've seen Sian Cuba playing in that more advanced role last week. So Cuba's dropped to the deeper lying midfield role alongside Luca Tavir, and it's Christian Trycheski playing as the 10 at the moment. But they're so fluid in their movements that it could be a completely different case in a couple of minutes' time. So Hume sitting in something of a 4-2-4 without the ball here, waiting for Avondale to present them with an opportunity to win it back. Here's Trycheski, the man who we mentioned playing in a 10 role, dropping deep to pick up the ball, and it's a decent 1-2 for Stefan Zinni. It's a good first touch. This is Stefan Zinni. Good save, Weir. A top save. He spread himself really well, and rightfully he gets the applause of the home crowd from the grandstand. Stefan Zinni bearing down on goal for the second time tonight. He's getting closer and closer to having that elusive goal. He hasn't scored one for a few weeks. He was off to a good start earlier in the season. 4 goals in the league and 4 in the cup. And here comes Avondale again. This is Cuba across the face, punched away by Weir. Gee, he's been busy in the last few minutes. This is Valentini and Weir again. This has been an outstanding opening to the game by Michael Weir, who has saved the bacon of Hume City once again here. Well, intelligent play again, as you'd expect from Michael Weir, a player who spent time in the A-League system up in the Hunter with the Newcastle Jets. Just taking some time off the clock here. He's just going to chip this one up the field. It's flicked on by Harker. Haven't called his name too much so far tonight. Bingham roaming into the wide areas. Kurtar getting into the box. Burka and Kurtar, and lining up it as Harker. De Ballet was there, threw himself at it. See what Harker was trying to do, and Ashcroft from distance. Well, the big central defender's enjoying himself in midfield tonight. And that's taken a touch as well, so credit to Tom Manos there. And even more credit for the shot, which must have been on target or thereabouts, from the big man Harry Ashcroft, who has scored a few goals this season. Looking back at the replay, it was an intelligent header back across the goal by Rob Harker. Unsure if he was trying to go for goal or perhaps tee up De Ballet. Kurtar over to take the kick here. Here the outswinger. Bryce gets his head on it. It's a good defensive header back from where it came. De Ballet picking up the second ball. Hit that one like an absolute rocket to Tafu across the face, and taking no chances was Dan Edwards. Didn't know what was lurking behind him, and intelligently not taking any chances at all. Puts it out of play, and it's going to be another corner for Hume City. This time from the near side. Burka and Kurtar in the long sleeves, jogging over to take. The breeze, if anything, has actually died down, so the flags next to us are looking limp as a charity wristband, so that's a good sign here for some good football in the middle, and it also helps Tom Manos, who took that one really well and not messing about. You can see the intent, getting that ball forward really quickly. So Kurtar here looking for the ball. That pass was intended for Kurtar as well, but it was inadvertently cut off by Adis. This is Tavir in the wide areas. He's got Addis to beat. In by Tavir. Oh, and it's an own goal. It's gone in off Aishan Ishak. And first blood to Avondale, who've really had the wood over Hume City in recent years. And that trend is continuing there. Aishan Ishak completely caught out by the cross from Tavir. Tavir drilled it in, plenty of pace on it. Manny Agwek was lurking behind him, so he had to act. He couldn't let it run. And he's beaten his own goalkeeper at the near post there as Aishan Ishak. So a game that's had plenty of attacking moments. Unsurprisingly, we do see the first goal within the first 20 minutes. And Avondale, who've had a couple of good opportunities, coming closest from Stefan Zinni and Manny Agwek. Well, it ends up being a Hume player who puts it in their own net to give Avondale the advantage in this one. So that reshuffled back four of Hume City. Maybe some questions will be asked about the positioning, as would have been the case after that winning goal that they conceded straight after going ahead down at Lakeside last week to Noel Bernardo, who managed to get free at the back post and slot home an 84th minute winner, only 2 minutes after Burkhan Kurdar had converted from the spot after winning the penalty himself and firing one of the best spot kicks I've seen this season past Harvey Lopez at the lake end of Lakeside Stadium. Ashcroft goes to ground looking for the free kick. There's no whistle coming. He's not too happy with the decision from Declan Woods, but it's going to be a throw over there near the turnstiles for the Avengers. Dan Edwards coming forward from left back to take. Challenge by Valentini on Ford. Ford slips as he tries to clear it away. Here's Tavir. He's another player who feels like he's been everywhere tonight for Avondale. Kamara now. Looking to be proactive and play it quickly out to Stefanzini. He's getting his confidence up here. Stefanzini gets the cross into the box. It's allowed to bounce just on the corner of the 6-yard box, and it's well taken by Weir. Here's Kurdar. Another player who's been busy so far. Tatafu stole in, got his foot on the ball ahead of Manny Agwek. Just having a look around the grounds. And the chasing pack, which does involve Dandenong City and Green Gully, who are both, I wouldn't say banging down the door of getting into the top 6, because Green Gully really blew a great chance last week, but given the results happening just ahead of them, they're still in the mix, and they're leading against the Melbourne Victory youth team over at Keilor Downs by 3-1 in the 65th minute there. Abdallah and Lockett on the score sheet in that fixture as the long-range shot comes in, and Manos fields it on the second attempt. Patrick Wall was the player on target for the Victory, with Green Gully scoring that goal to double their advantage just 3 minutes ago. So the Cavaliers don't write them off making the top 6. They had a chaotic game last week. 6 changes to their starting 11. Goalkeeper injury. Sorry, a goalkeeper sending off, an injury to a central defender. Both of those things in the first half before they conceded a 97th minute goal to Alexander Gus, the left back from Altona. So a result that kept Avondale, I'm trying to say, it kept Altona away from that bottom 4. Tough turnaround too for Melbourne Victory. They only just played on Monday night as well. Bit of a heartbreaker going down to bottom side Melbourne Knights. In the latter stages of that one. So it's well and truly on in the NPL Victoria for that premiership race between Heidelberg and Avondale in particular for those spots in the top 6, with Hume City and Preston trying to hold out Green Gully and Dandenong City, and then of course in the relegation battle as well, with 3 teams going down. Could go right down to the wire, as we only have 5 games to go after tonight. That other game in progress on 50 minutes down at Frank Holohan. It's the visitors, South Melbourne, who were going on a bit of a winning streak, and I think there's a few pundits around town who suggested that maybe they could make a finals challenge. Well, with the form that they have, if they keep picking up 3 points every week, they actually will make the finals at this rate you fancy. Mikola Ren Nagamatsu, the new signing, came across from South Australia via the Eastern Lions. 2 goals in 2 appearances for his new club, South Melbourne, and Halfpenny as well. Cooper Halfpenny, the defensive midfielder, on the score sheet there. All those goals inside half-time. Diego Cuba, his brother Sian, is out there in the middle tonight. Diego Cuba also on the score sheet down there for Dandenong City as they trail 3-1. So Green Gully doing their best to keep the pressure on the top 6, and Dandenong City, well, they got time to turn that game around. That's just in the 51st minute down there at Frank Holohan. That's the 3 games in progress tonight. We'll keep you across the scores as Hume City look for the equaliser here through Burkhan Kurdar. In the space for Bingham. Well, his first touch was fizzed at Harker, who's been a little bit too quiet so far tonight by his standards. No doubt he would feel. Ball forward by Wellsmore. And he was looking for Stefan Zinni, but the two right-sided players were not quite on the same wavelength. There's a few recriminations going on there in front of us between those two Avondale players and the coaching staff as well. That move would have been rehearsed on the training track during the week. Didn't quite come off in the reality in the fixture here tonight. Here's DeBellet. Still he goes, Godfrey DeBellet. Flips it in, it's away by Bryce. Might have a bit of a problem here for... Oh, it's Rob Harker who's hobbling behind the play. If you're wondering why he's not up there in the box, he's trying to make his way up there now. Doesn't look too happy. Well, they do have Lloyd Hisgrove on the bench, but being another player returning from injury, they probably don't want to see him playing more than the 45, but I wonder if that'll come into considerations, given that they are a goal down, and Rob Harker maybe is at risk of being dragged off the pitch early here with a significant limp that he's carrying at the moment. But it's going to be a free kick, and the expert set-piece taker is standing over it, is Burkan Kurdar. It's a good delivery as well. Bryce, he might have got a hand on that one, Aidan Bryce. No pen, says the referee. Declan Woods was in good position. He had a good look at it. And to Aidan Bryce's credit, his hands looked like they were right by his side, which always reduces the chance of that referee pointing to the spot for the handball. Here's Reardon. Left foot. Harker's the target. He's caught in two minds and able to get on the end of the ball. That was perhaps a little bit too deep in any case. Well, Rob Harker's moving a little bit better. We'll keep an eye on him. See the subs for Avondale are warming up to our right. It does look like there's a couple of Hume players, including Lloyd Hisgrove, going through a couple of warm-up routines as well. Also Josh O'Kane, that's the other one. If you have joined us late, Josh O'Kane, the player that you might have expected to see starting tonight, maybe more than any other Hume City player. He's been a form player and a key component to Hume this season. He is starting from the bench tonight, so no doubt we'll see him getting involved, perhaps not till after the halftime interval. Harry Ashcroft being deployed as a defensive midfielder. Tatafu. This is Reardon. And forward, DeBellet. Good combinations here by Hume. This is better. Trying to get themselves back into this contest. Kurdar. This is a good overlap by forward. Can he get a good ball into the box? Attacking it well was Aidan Bryce, and here's another player who's really shone so far, cutting off almost every ball into the box. And there's been a few, particularly from that right side by Hume City. So we approach the 30-minute mark here at Nasiol Stadium. And it is an own goal by Aisan Ishak that separates the two sides. Luca Tavia cross turned in at the near post by the central defender. On 20 minutes. Opportunity here for Addis. Oh, the free kick's going to go against him. Wellsmore did enough to put the challenge in, and was adjudged to have been impeded by referee Woods. It's been a long, long time since Hume's last win against Avondale. Came on the 8th of the 4th, 2017. And the score of that night, it was an early goal in 11 minutes. Guess who it was? Someone who was a star for both of these sides, in particular a star at Avondale in the end, was Liam Boland. 8 years ago. It's a long streak that Avondale's been getting the better of Hume City. in the league and also in the cup as well. They've only met once in the cup in their history, and it was that final as well, the 2021 Doherty Cup final, where it's played later in the year in December, and Avondale got over the line, a Steph Valentini penalty, 1-0. And here is that man, Stefan Valentini, charging into the penalty area, bearing down on goal. It's Stefan Valentini, and it's well saved by Michael Weir. Well, that would have been big trouble for Hume City had Valentini got himself on the score sheet there and doubled the lead of Avondale. Okay, Curda got a bit of a nudge there from Christian Trycheski, it appeared, from our position. Play on was the call, and Avondale are going to keep putting the pressure on here. Manny Aguex floated out from his central position into a wide left area here. And on the overlap is Edwards. Valentini tried to get a little crafty touch out in front of his feet. Didn't quite come off, and he's given away the foul. And he's going to become the first player to go into the book for the evening. Is Stefan Valentini. Of course, Ite Towns out through suspension tonight. Picked up his 5th yellow card of the season against Dandenong Thunder last week. It's good timing, though, as Christian Trycheski was able to return from his 5 yellow card suspension that he served in the previous match to swap straight back in plug-and-play options in central midfield for Zoran Markowski. Many. And Yusuf Ahmed returning from injury, being on the bench tonight as well. Plenty of options. The latter more of an option in the front three. Good challenge and good pressure by Edwards. Here he is again. It's not quite a finals-like atmosphere here tonight, but there is an element of that finals feel between these two sides who could well meet in late August or early September, and if Hume could somehow come from behind and get a result, it would be a good psychological boost for them going into finals time. Of course, they went the distance against Avondale in that lightning storm affected elimination final last year, going all the way to Pens and getting over the line at Olympic Village. So they do know how to get the job done in those one-off games, as that showed in that elimination final. Ball angled in behind here for Zinni. He goes to ground, asking for the free. And the card's out of the pocket here. Taken quickly. No, that's not going to be allowed. Well, the Hume defenders are pleading their case. Look at this ball forward by Aidan Bryce, just looking at the replay screen here. And it was Addis who was deemed to have unfairly made contact with Stefan Valentini, who was flying forward at a rate of knots from that right-sided position. Not for the first time tonight. So you can hear that is the voice of Michael Weir organising his wall. Making his impressions known to Burkhan Kurda and Godfrey de Valle there, the two men in the wall. It's Trycheski and Cuba standing over it. They're all gathered at the back post. Bryce and Kamara, the obvious targets. Here is the set-piece routine from Cuba. It's in. Edwards with a header. And it's sat up well, and it's put away. And it's Stefan Zinni. He's been threatening that all night. And Stefan Zinni is back on the score sheet. And just sat up nicely for him for the second ball. Not enough pressure to close him down. He fired truly through a sea of bodies, did Stefan Zinni. And inside 35 minutes, it's a comfortable lead now for the Avengers. Stefan Zinni with his 5th league goal of the season. Not a lot of finesse required, plenty of power, just put his foot through that one. One of those ones that you just hit firmly and hope it finds its way through the sea of bodies. It was a crowded penalty area. Certainly the pace of the shot helped it find its way into the back of the net and nestle into the net for the second time this evening. So Nation Ishak with the own goal, and now Stefan Zinni with the 2 goals. So Avondale so far this evening, inside 10 minutes till the break, and leaving Hume with a bit of work to do. They've been good value for their attempts so far, but they haven't quite been able to find the chemistry between their front 3 or their front 4 tonight of Harker, Bingham, DeBalle, Kerdar. You can see they are deploying this tactic on the near side here with the left back. Addis is creeping forward on the blind side here, the fat side of the ground, and he's done well here to get around Wellsmore. Still he goes, Addis. Can he get a good ball in? Kamara there doing the defensive duty. He's like a bulldog there, Kalalu Kamara, and he's unhappy that they've conceded the corner kick. Just no way around Kalalu Kamara once he gets his body into position. Such a difficult player to try and even consider dribbling the ball past when he's on top form. The former Metro Stars defender. So Manos organising his wall. He's got players on both of the posts. In by Kerdar. And it's going to be Hume are back on the... Hume are back. And they are back with the goal. Back to 2-1. Good ball in by Kerdar. To Tafu. The new signing. Not a lot of celebration. But he took it really, really well there. So the new signing has an impact. Mason to Tafu. Well, that's just what Hume needed going into half-time. Only 3 minutes after Stefan Zinni had scored at the other end. Burkhan Kerdar with the assist. Goes to ground and wins the free kick here. He really is the magic man for Hume City that gets things going. Just looking at that header again. Such a good ball into the box. Avondale, who've been really good at dealing with these situations. The tall timber in there. But neither Bryce nor Kamara was able to intervene and prevent Tatafu from nodding home. On 38 minutes, Mason Tatafu, the West Aussie, with his first NPL Victoria goal. And is there a second to come here perhaps for Hume? Good defensive header by Edwards. Agwek does really well, wins the ball back from forward, and he's on the charge here. Manny Agwek goes to ground. No foul, no contact is the decision from referee Woods. So Hume, they look buoyed by that goal by Tatafu, and here's Harker, who's running smoothly again after hobbling earlier across the face of the goal. The home crowd, the oohs and the ahs. After being pegged back to 2-0, they've really come to life. The home fans here. There's a few more venturing out from behind the glass to sample some of the atmosphere over there in the grandstand on the far side. Here's Addis trying to get around Wellsmore. Did it come off Wellsmore last? Corner kick is the decision. Or is it? It's going to be a goal kick. The referee initially did appear to point towards the corner. The earpiece is coming into action. The assistant referee over there on the far side, Jackson Trundle. Excellent technology that we have for the match officials these days, to be mic'd up and communicating with each other from across the pitch. Out by Addis. Well, it stayed in play. Just about landed one on Cuba there. Ashcroft just adjusting to the pace of that role in defensive midfield that he's taken up. He had a few minutes in there in the latter stages of last week. Here's to Ballet across the face. Strong right hand by Manos, and it needed the clearance from Wellsmore, the right back, who had to get in there and clear the danger quickly. Tatafu, the most recent goal scorer out there. Ishak, who does have his name on the score sheet, but not the right end of the pitch, unfortunately, for him tonight. He's worked hard out there, though. Here's Debele. Agwek, who's the nominal number 9 out there, who's picking up the ball next to his own back four. Here's Zinni. Good tempo about this game now. Zinni almost playing the wall pass off his opponent there, Addis. And here's that man, Zahi Addis, in the white boots. Ashcroft. Kerdar, good pocket of space for him. He can turn and play it out wide here to Joseph Ford. So both of the Hume fullbacks, Ford and Addis, both getting forward and getting involved. It's something that will be encouraging for the Hume fans who are tuning in tonight on the live stream to see Hume working on getting more numbers involved in the attacks. And just sitting deep, everyone behind the ball pretty much at the moment. As Hume try and play right through the middle of the white shirts. Edwards. Agwek. Nice little dummy, plays the ball inside. Almost turned it over, but lucks of fortune, and Luke De Vere, who played a big hand in the opening goal of the evening. In possession, Wellsmore, and now Zinni. With his first goal in quite a few weeks, making it his 5th of the season. Not quite sure if he'll be able to catch up to leading scorer at the club, Manny Agwek, who's stuck on 13 for a few weeks now as well. Trycheski, he can drive forward here, try and play it in for Agwek. For those reasons, Manny Agwek, he'd love a goal tonight too. You see Avondale 3 draws on the bounce, and you just wonder if they're just getting themselves, just pacing themselves into finals time with just 5 games to go in the league after this. So they do have a busy schedule. Cup football against South Melbourne in that semi-final, and they also have that Australia Cup National Round of 32 match coming up against Stirling Lions, who sit in 8th place in the NPLWA. That's coming up on Tuesday the 22nd of July. That'll be at Green Gully Reserve. And if you're wondering why it's taking place there, it is because of the lack of floodlighting at Avenger Park. As has been the case, they played home games in the Cup at Paisley Park and BT Connor Reserve, or Genesteel Stadium. And here's Stefan Zinni. He's got acres of space, and perhaps he could have made more of that opportunity. Some almost mournful looks as that opportunity dissipated there from those in the Avondale technical area. They can grab another one to add to their current cushion before half-time. It'd be a real boost. So we approach first half stoppage time, and we hear from the official in front of us that there will be just the 2 minutes of added time. There is that confirmation from 40 tonight, Daniel Woodyard, that will be just the 2 minutes. Daniel Woodyard, who officiated his first game as a central referee in NPL Victoria, the senior competition last week. Down at Green Gully Reserve, he presided over a very eventful match, that one. Tatafu brings it down really well. Confidence flowing through the veins after scoring that header a short time ago on 38 minutes to get Hume back into the game. Here's Ishak. Ashcroft celebrated his 30th birthday on Tuesday. Pretty happy to celebrate with 3 points tonight in his new role in defensive midfield. Here he is getting involved again. It's a good ball. Just Reardon trying to play through Harker, but well read by that Avondale defence, and as they do, they try and turn defence into attack at a devastating speed of play. Stefan Zinni in the wide area, fizzes it across the face, and getting back to clear the lines is none other than Burkhan Kurda. So we're just about at the last action of the first half. 2 minutes was the added time. So it's Cuba over to take this one. A tall timber lurking out beyond the back post. Kamara and Bryce. Driven across the face. It's a good header by Valentini to centre things, but he couldn't find anyone in wide, and that'll be half-time here from Naciol Stadium. An eventful first half by two sides who look like they're going to figure in the proceedings of the NPL Victoria final series in 2025. And we got going on 20 minutes with an own goal by Aishan Ishak. It was a cross by Luka Tavir that Ishak could only turn into his own net. And then it was Stefan Zinni making it double trouble for Hume City, getting his first goal for a few weeks on 35 minutes. But it was only 3 minutes later that Mason Tatafu was able to head home.
Slightly. Yeah, no, outside that box there was shooting one too. Goal.
Welcome back for the second 45 from National Stadium. It's NPL Victoria, round 21 of the season. Friday night football coming your way from West Meadows in Melbourne's north here, Broadmeadows Valley Park. And it is certainly hotting up here. 2-1 is the lead for Avondale. These two sides who've both been entrenched in the top 6 for the season in its entirety. Battling it out here. We've got the close one for you tonight. Avondale with opening the scoring. Luke DeVere's cross turned into his own net by Aishan Ishak before Stefan Zinni got himself on the score sheet, picking up a second ball and firing home to make it 2-0 on 35 minutes. And on 38 minutes, it was a goal for the new signing, the central defender Mason Tatafu, nodding home truly from a Burkhan Kurda cross. So that has us at 2-1 here. And there's a lot to play for. This could go either way in the second 45. Looking forward to your company over the duration of the second stanza. We've been treated to some Balkan bangers from some of the best Turkish musicians at half-time, and it's got us in the mood for a action-packed second 45 here. And it's Christian Trycheski getting on the end of this little ball in from Dan Edwards. Still he goes, Christian Trycheski fires into the back post area, and it's away by forward Wellsmore. It was an ambitious first touch as he tried to steer through heavy traffic and a wall of red shirts. Kurda, it's a good ball for Harker. Rob Harker, who had a bit of an injury niggle midway through the first half, is resumed out there for the second 45. So there's no change to either side at half-time. Hume with Weir in goal, the back four of Ford, Tatafu, Ishak and Addis. Two of those new signings that debuted last week, Tatafu and Addis, both lining up in that defensive, in that back four. Tatafu and Ford, two players who've played together before at Perth Glory. Here's DeBelle. Bingham. Floated into the back post, away by Bryce. This is Kurda looking for space for the shot, and he finds Ford. Floats it across the penalty area. Kamara, like a man possessed, coming through to make the clearance, and it might have been a bit of contact here on Aidan Bryce, who's stayed down, so we'll keep an eye on that as the trainer is out to check on Aidan Bryce, Maurizio Luna. So we'll have a short break in play, just going over those 11s again that are unchanged since the start. Weir, Ford, Tatafu, Ishak and Addis. The keeper and back four for Hume in midfield. Harry Ashcroft, that is right, Harry Ashcroft lining up in defensive midfield alongside Aaron Reardon. And then supporting Rob Harker in attack, it's Kurda, Bingham and DeBelle. Kurda and DeBelle charged with offering a little bit of width. For Avondale, it's Manos in goal, Edwards, Bryce, Kamara and Wellsmore, the back four. The midfield three is Kubert, Trycheski and Tavir. The two Steffens, Valentini and Zinni on the flanks. Ball into the box, it's well taken by Manos, and is Manny Agwek up top for the Avengers. So Hume, they just feel like they've got a little bit of momentum going into this second half. And, of course, they've got Lloyd Isgrove and Josh O'Kane, a couple of really handy players to bring on off the bench in the second half. So, as has been the case, we've seen this season, Kavara almost got too tricky for his own good there, but Rob Harker wasn't quite able to nip in and nick the ball away from the big central defender. He's a little bit slippery underfoot there. There's been a fair bit of rain in Melbourne earlier in the week. Dry and sunny day today. This pitch was also used by the under-23s immediately before this as a double-header. So these teams both warmed up on the pitch, which is located behind our broadcast position, the more easterly orientated pitch here, and so they didn't warm up on this pitch, and this pitch, was used for the full 90 as the Avondale under-23 scored last gasp winner to win by 2-1 against Hume's under-23s. Following that competition, some bright young prospects going toe-to-toe every week in that NPL under-23 competition. It's a good header by Joseph Ford to just keep Avondale honest here, but taken quickly is the throw by Edwards. Valentini trying to apply some trickery while he was sitting on the floor. He feels like he might have been fouled. He's already on a yellow card as well, so he could do best by not offering any back chat to referee Woods. Clever touch by Ford, and he switches the play well. Really good bit of play by Joseph Ford. Addis let himself down a little bit with the touch, which went behind him, and Hume forced to go back. Reardon's ball forward. Here's Addis. Zahi Addis, the Queenslander. Game number 2 in his new colours. Hume City red. It's a full baptism of fire coming down here into Broadmeadows this time of year as well from Queensland for the NPL Queensland winner with the Gold Coast Knights, and more recently with Gold Coast United. Avondale, surprisingly, not dipping into the transfer market as far as we've heard anyway. Been a little bit short of options in attack without George Ott being available for some weeks now in attack. The return of Yusuf Ahmed definitely helps bolster the depth of the squad. Still without Kerr as well, so a couple of players to come back, or at least Zoki Markowski will be hoping to see those players back at some point. Here's Bryce trying to play forward to Devere, who's making the run in the channel. He gets there ahead of Tatafu. Edwards providing the extra bit of run and drive as he does so well, but Michael Weir able to come and claim nice and easily. We hope you're enjoying your Friday night and Friday night football. Wherever you're tuning in from, there was a few spectators inside the social rooms inside with a bit of a breach of the Sharon rule taking place in there on the big screen. However, with the score from the MCG, we've certainly got a much closer contest here coming your way in the NPL Victoria live stream tonight. Thank you for your company. My name's Steve Curtin, and it's a pleasure to have the best seat in the house here to enjoy this one. Certainly hope you're enjoying it as well. This match between two sides that should figure in finals football in season 2025. Big hello to Joel, who's tuning in East Geelong tonight. Enjoying the action. Kamara's ball forward. Good pocket of space here for Zinni, but his first touch was showing a little bit too much of the ball, but he was able to keep it ahead of him. Then he's going to charge forward again here into the box. Cuba, and now Valentini. Is there space for the shot? We almost thought about going to ground under the challenge. Cuba. Good defending by Hume, closing down any angles here that Avondale could find space to shoot an attempt on Michael Weir's goal. So the defensive setup does its job there for Nick Hegarty. So still sitting on 11 degrees here at Broadmeadows. Breeze picked up a little bit at half-time. It does favour the left of your screen, so the end that Avondale are attacking in this second half. One of those cool breezes that you seem to get these Friday night fixtures in Melbourne's north. It feels like it's coming straight off Mount Macedon. It's 11 degrees, but the feels like temperature a little bit lower than that. As the breeze is just starting to pick up a little bit as this match goes on. So it's Hume with the work to do here. Ashcroft to Tafu. To Ballet. Holding off Edwards well, and the technique to turn and face forward and try and switch the play here. Reardon and now Bingham. This is good signs here for Hume City. It's into the box, and it's not a good cross in the end at all by Zahi Addis, the 21-year-old. So something of a patient approach by both sides as we ponder how long it'll be until we see this coaches go to the bench. Plenty of good options, as we said. Lloyd Isgrove, Mark Oshieng, Mehmet Usal, Josh O'Kane, the outfield options for Nick Hegarty, and his assistant coach Halil Hussein. Matt Reid, Blake Carpenter, Ethan Pisani, Jackson Courtney Perkins, Yusuf Ahmed available to Zoran Markowski and Andy Vargas out there as they consider making a couple of changes. They only made 2 changes last week, bringing on Blake Carpenter as a winger, a little bit further up the field than we usually see him play. As one of those changes. Having Yusuf Ahmed back really bolsters the attack and gives another option to play anywhere in that front three, particularly if Manny Agwick doesn't go the distance tonight. Could see Yusuf Ahmed lining up as the number 9, as DeBalle, who's tasked with doing a lot of attacking, is back doing the defensive duties here in the green boots. The former Queenslander who also made the trip down from Gold Coast Knights off-season. Trycheski just trying to direct the traffic like a conductor with the players in white shirts ahead of him. Valentini running at Joseph Ford. His cross was blocked well. Second time though, he gets it across the face of the goal, and at the back post there was no one there except for Zahi Addis, who was able to let that one run out of play because he obviously had checked his shoulders and seen that there was no one in a white shirt behind him. Plenty more matches coming up in NPL Victoria across the weekend. Tomorrow, big one from Paisley Park at 3:15. Altona Magic and Heidelberg United. Altona with a couple of key players departing the club in the mid-season transfer window to Varna in Spartak Varna in the Bulgarian top flight. Ilya Trenkov, who's kept goal for much of the season since coming in to replace Christian Rossi. He's made the trip over there to reacquaint himself with some Eastern European football. So has Saad Mukashar as well, so a couple of key players there, particularly Mukashar, who's been really good in central midfield, heading over to try his luck on the coast of the Black Sea. Good ball forward by Reardon.
Let's go!
And you can see all subs from both sides are warming up to our right here, so it might not be too long until the changes are swung here. Cut out by Tavir. Zinni with acres of space in front of him. He's got a paddock here as Stefan Zinni. Stefan Zinni gets to the byline, plays it across the face of the goal. It's caught up in a sea of bodies. It's back out to Zinni again. Wellsmore now. Forced back by the pressure from Bingham. So Avondale just trying to go through the gears here and put a little bit of fear into this Hume side. There's no chance to lapse, or they'll make it 3-1, and that could be good night and thank you for the side that would go top of the tree tonight on goal difference if they're able to get the win here. They are currently sitting in top on the live ladder with, as we said, Heidelberg still to play tomorrow. Also tomorrow in the evening, match of the round of NPL Victoria is Dandenong Thunder and the Oakley Cannons at 7 o'clock. Just pause here because Tavir is about to fire on goal, and it was a dipping attempt with the wind behind him. Michael Weir flung himself, and Tavir looking for his second goal in as many weeks. Hitting that one downwind, that was an absolute rocket. His trajectory was not on target. A couple of games on Sunday as well. Preston Lions continuing on their trend of playing the Sunday afternoon football. They'll be hosting the Port Melbourne Sharks in what will be a must-win, you fancy, for Preston Lions to try and keep a grasp of their spot. They sit in 6th on the table. And St Albans and the Melbourne Knights at 4 o'clock on Sunday. That's a must-win for both sides. Melbourne Knights bringing some form in after the win on Monday night. St Albans can't afford to drop any points either. They've been busy in the transfer market as well. Corner to the Avengers, and it's going to be Cuba to take. Zealand Cuba. Again, the tall timber at the back post, so comes in. It's just about cleared away, only as far as Trycheski though. Kamara, well, we've seen him shoot from these sort of positions with devastating effect a couple of weeks ago. Kurdar's in possession. He's got nobody ahead of him. Bingham. Cuba. Agwek now. Oh, his first touch lets him down. Well, there's a triple sub getting ready here for Nick Hegarty, so the time is now, as we've gone into the last 30 minutes of this one. Donnelly and Edwards wrestling for it, so it's going to be a return to Eastgrove, coming back from missing last week through injury, and missing the game a fortnight before that as well. With a muscle strain. So it's going to be Tatafu, the goal scorer, coming off. Also, Zahi Addis is coming off too. It looks like it's going to be Josh Bingham, who's handed the captain's armband over to Harry Ashcroft, who looks like he's going to slot back into central defence when Tatafu's been lining up. It's going to be Oshieng going back into that left back role. So it's a straight swap for Zahi Addis. We've also got Josh O'Kane entering the fray, who's been a star man in midfield this year, so he's going to come in and play. Looks like something at the number 8 role. Woody Scrove over to his familiar left wing role. Still no changes for the Avengers, so the triple change has been deployed. What will be the result of that? Reardon. The wind picking up now, so it's getting more challenging for Hume to get the ball up the park. Again, Reardon trying to clear his lines, and he's going to put that one out towards the training pitches on the far side. Floodlight still on over there. We saw the youngsters going through their paces when we arrived for this one. The 8:30 kickoff here. NPL Victoria, Friday Night Football. Round 21 of the competition. Avondale looking for a third that maybe could kill this game off. Trajewski. Oh, and it's over the bar, like the previous shot from Tavia. Quite keep it down. Well, Avondale with the ascendancy in terms of the score and territorial advantage in the second half so far, but it does still feel like it could be anyone's game here. And this triple sub from Nick Hegarty could be a significant moment. Can they get some more supply to the big Englishman up front, Rob Harker? He's been a little bit quiet by his standards. He's the former Halifax Town attacker. Bit of space here for Sion Cuba. Into the box is Manny Agwek. Reasonable first touch this time, and it's out of play by Reardon. It's going to be an Avondale corner. Agwek looking frustrated again. It was a good run, enterprising play by Sion Cuba, the Queenslander, charged down the left-hand side. Breeze picking up here. The 66th minute. Taken short. Here's Tavir. Trying to get around O'Kane, the substitute. Everyone behind the ball here for Hume. Dan Edwards looking for options ahead of him. Cooper stayed onside here. Good timing of the run. He's got Rob Harker to beat. He might elect against trying to cross here. He does eventually put the cross into the back post area, and it was Valentini who was flagged for offside. Valentini heading back across the goal. It missed in any case. Not sure if it was an attempt on goal or if it was a centering effort looking for a teammate. And the assistant referee over there on the far side, Jackson Trundle, had no hesitation in activating the right deltoid to raise his arm and his flag above his head for an offside decision. Well, we can go around the grounds, give you the full-time scores from Frank Holohan. It was a thrilling comeback for Dandenong City, who share the points with South Melbourne. A 92nd minute equaliser after Kenny Athu had got the score back to 3-2 on 85 minutes. So a thriller down there at Frank Holohan. In Melbourne Southeast tonight. It's been largely one-way traffic over at Keilor Downs, Green Gully, hitting back after their disappointing Friday night last week. They'll be celebrating there in the social club by the back of Green Gully Reserve tonight. Abdallah Lockhead, goal for the new signing Dor Jock, and Josh Hope as well. Too much for Green Gully, who had a Patrick Wall goal to speak for. But Stefan Zinni's motoring forward here, and is this the moment for Avondale? Zinni again, it's off the line. Well, it's heroic defending. It was Aishan Ishak. Well, it was basically a 3-on-1 there. White shirts bearing down on Michael Weir's goal, and somehow just a long ball over the top, and suddenly it's literally a 3-on-1 here. With the two Stefans and Manny Agwek. 3-on-1 with the keeper. In effect, really. Michael Weir and Aishan Ishak coming up big when it mattered most, keeping their team in the game. They're riding their luck out there. And they do have the ascendancy and the balance of play as well as the score, but we're going to see a double change here. Blake Carpenter is stripped and ready to go, as is Yusuf Ahmed making his return the first time in 3 weeks. Back from injury as well. Both of them wise enough to be in the long sleeves. No one's in the gloves. Fancy wearing a pair of gloves out there tonight in these conditions. It is chilly in the breeze. It's Cuba looking to get in on the act after his brother has scored for Dandenong City earlier tonight. Going to go all the way back to Manos, and Hume can try and move their defensive block up the park a little bit, but Avondale, as soon as they pass back, they're quickly to go forward again. Touch for Harker. O'Kane. Now Reardon clips that one out in front of the substitute Oshieng, dueling with Wellsmore. Emlyn Wellsmore has done well there to play it up the line, has the South Aussie. And it looks like it'll be time for that change now. Blake Carpenter ready to go. And that's going to be the end of the shift for Stefan Zinni, who ends his night with a goal. He might think he might have had 2, but he looks pretty happy to be back on the score sheet as he leaves the field of play, does Stefan Zinni. He actually turns 29 on Sunday to Stefan Zinni, so he'll be able to get the celebrations going early tonight after this one. Stefan Valentini, who is also turning 29 this month, is the other player coming off. So Yusuf Ahmed is back out in the action in the front 3, as is Blake Carpenter, who we've been very accustomed to him playing as a fullback in his time in NPL Victoria with Avondale and previously Dandenong Thunder. Since coming across from South Australia, he's getting his chance to play. So let's see how he goes as the left winger here. He's looking for the ball already as well. Trycheski, magnet to his feet. Trycheski to Veer, and now Edwards directing the play ahead of him. And here is the first touch for the substitute Carpenter. Kamara. Dandenong City have actually jumped into the top 6 on the live ladder, 29 points in 6th place. Green Gully on 29 points in 7th place. Preston with the game in hand still to play against Port Melbourne on Sunday, dropping down to 8th for the moment. Hume City 2 points clear of Dandy City and Green Gully, so it's hotting up now in the finals race. Cuba! Oh, warming the palms of Michael Weir. Solid attempt. It was pretty much fired straight at the tall Queenslander, who did well. Plenty of chat coming from the Avondale bench. A little bit quieter from Nick Hegarty's Hume technical area. Well played by Kurtar. Good feet. The former Victory man, the player who's Hume City is really in his DNA. His grandfather's was the founding father of the club. Frustration there between he and Joseph Ford, not on the same page. Just wonder how long it will take for new coach Nick Hegarty for some of these training ground drills to transpire on the pitch. Here's Carpenter. Blake Carpenter with the attempt, saved by Weir, followed up by Carpenter with the header. Well, he didn't stand back and admire his shot, did he? Quick to react to the parry from Michael Weir was Blake Carpenter, and his header went wide. Well, he got in behind Joseph Ford there. You don't see Michael Weir getting lobbed too many times, and he wasn't there either. Got a big right hand up in the air to deny the first shot. It was a really good save, looking back at the replay, that first save. Carpenter so quick to react. Good football all round. Ishak takes the goal kick long rather than we're taking it, and Kurdar's charging forward here. He's been fouled by Trycheski, who should go into the book for that cynical challenge. So Trycheski picks up his 6th yellow card of the season. Hume want to go quickly, but there will be a little bit of a delay while we do the paperwork here quickly for referee Woods. O'Kane. Man who's played in all 20 games for Hume City so far this season. O'Kane, no one else has completed that feat. Make that 21 now, which matches the number on the back of his shirt. Here's Isgrove, player that Hume will desperately want to get into the play. Oshieng was the target of the pass from Kurdar. Oshieng again. Can he muster up here from left back? Reardon. Oh, I'm not too sure he was on the same page as Rob Harker at all there. So just around 15 minutes to go here for the Avengers to hold on to this one, but you can see they're really not content to just sit on this 1-goal cushion. Sliced a little bit by Bryce, but he picked out Yusuf Ahmed to substitute quite well. Well played, Ahmed. Looks like he hasn't missed a beat since being out injured for a couple of weeks. And here's Blake Carpenter. Good duel between he and Joseph Ford so far. Carpenter just lost control of it momentarily, and Josh O'Kane's able to come away. Carpenter was giving chase every step of the way, though. Here's Isgrove going toe-to-toe with Wellsmore. What a good duel that is, and well played, Emlyn Wellsmore. He does concede the corner kick. It came back off his outstretched leg. So the first set-piece chance for a little while here for Hume. They have been successful from the corner kick already tonight through Mason Tatafu. He's no longer out there, though, after being substituted. Mason Tatafu getting the goal in his second appearance for Hume, his first start for the club. So let me take him quickly here to Ballet. Kurdar is onside, and the defence does its job. Plenty of plaudits for Dan Edwards from the Avondale technical area, and he's been solid as a rock again tonight. Dan Edwards, he's like the Energizer Bunny, gets forward. He's so hard to get around in those defensive areas. Always looks like one of the fittest players out there, one of the fittest players in the competition. Like he just runs on top of the ground, Dan Edwards. Wellsmore driving forward. So Avondale enjoying playing with the breeze behind their back. Sitting top of the live ladder in the competition as we speak. Another change coming up for Nick Hegarty. We can tell you that Mehmet Usal is ready to enter the fray. Player who we've seen him be successful at being that game changer option for Hume City this season. Good finisher, quite creative. He has 2 goals in the league and 1 in the cup this season, the 21-year-old. Looks like he's going to line up on the right-hand side of the front 3. Godfrey de Ballet getting an early mark. Isgrove Oshieng providing the overlap. It's Lloyd Isgrove driving into the penalty area. Manos down well. Well, it's been a long time coming since we've seen Manos tested in this second half. And the test came from a likely source in Lloyd Isgrove, the substitute. Isn't it good to see him back out there in NPL Victoria after missing a couple of games with injury in the last month? Well read by Ashcroft. Forward, Kurda, look at that turn. Straight past Tavir, who gives chase. Wellsmore picking that one off really, really well, and he's looking to get forward here, and he's going to create the passing channel here for Manny Agwek. It's well blocked by Ishak, and it's come back off Manny Agwek for a goal kick, so good result for Hume, who see Michael Weir playing ball boy here over to the fence to get this ball back into play as quickly as possible. There's only just over 10 minutes to go. That bright spark a few moments ago from Lloyd Isgrove. That ball's been rolled about half a metre outside of the 6-yard box. Will need to be moved back. Weir just with the 7-9 up the park to the substitute Usal, but there was too much slice on that one and it runs out of play. Cuba, I think he'd love a goal tonight. Here we go, Sian Cuba into the box. Good header away, Ashcroft. O'Kane might have got a kick there from Trzycewski. Forward by Usal. Trzycewski was begging for that ball to stay in play. It's Jackson Courtney Perkins' time. He's bided his time here. And it's going to be Manny Agwek who's making way. So inside the last 10 minutes, Courtney Perkins comes on. Looks like Yusuf Ahmed will go into the striker position, and Courtney Perkins, who's been deployed as a fullback a lot this year, is going to get the chance to line up as the right winger, which no doubt he will appreciate a hell of a lot. It's those slightly reduced defensive duties of playing that role, but given the game state that they are leading by the solitary goal, he will still be expected to do as much defending as anyone in the midfield behind him, if not the defence. Reardon's ball forward is a good one. Here's Mehmet Usal. Trying to get around Dan Edwards. Gets to the byline. Well played, Usal. And it found Harker as well. Wow, what a ball in by Mehmet Usal. And Harker's attempt. Still live here for Hume. Kurda. Space for the shot perhaps. Goes down. There was contact, but it was only incidental. And I think, to be fair, Kurda had already lost control of the ball that had rolled away from him. Well, all action here inside the last 10 minutes. Well, we're giving Dan Edwards a rap before, but Usal got past him, and Rob Harker forced a really good reflex save out of Tom Manos in that previous phase of play. Chance to kill it off here, perhaps, though. Yusuf Ahmed, Courtney Perkins, whistle's already gone. So on a cold night in Broadmeadows, this match really coming to life in the final few minutes. It's been a long, long time since Hume has even got a point against Avondale. Avondale 7 wins on the bounce in this fixture, plus in the league, plus 1 cup game. So a long, long time since Hume have even taken a point, 8 consecutive games. Avondale have won. Play on's the call here from referee Woods. Bryce, he had more time than he realised there, and once he did, he was certainly able just to cruise the ball forward. Here's Cuba for the substitute Courtney Perkins, and it was a bit of a tired effort, that ball, and out of play. Well, the tempo is going to be going up now. The only way is up in the last few minutes here. Lots at stake. As we said, Hume, they would love to get a point here just to try and help shore up their top 6 placing. They've got a tricky fixture next week. They're down to Jack Edwards to take on the Oakley Cannons, but it's a good run of fixtures after that where they'll play Port Melbourne, the Melbourne Knights, Melbourne Victory and St Albans. So all the bottom 4 coming up in the final 4 games for Hume City. So if they can somehow snatch a point here, weather the storm a little bit against Oakley next week, they'll be looking really good to hang on to their top 6 spot. You fancy that they do play the bottom 4 teams in the final 4 games. No concerns with cup football to worry about as well. They must still be smarting after being knocked out by Nunawading City down at Marnie's Reserve. 3 goals to 0 that night, the scoreline a few weeks back. Tom Banos just taking a little bit of time off the clock here. Sends this one forward. Yusuf Ahmed was the target. Header was by Reardon. Usal trying to find a way through. It was like a maze. Yusuf Ahmed, look at the dancing feet of Yusuf Ahmed. Another player that the neutral observer is happy to see back out there. Here's Isgrove. Started down his usual left-hand side. He's getting involved on the right at the moment. Yusuf Ahmed wins the free kick, and it's a good one to win too for Avondale. So 5 minutes of regular time to go here. It's a foot race between Carpenter and forward, and not taking any prisoners was Michael Weir. That ball's out onto the training pitch. Well, in the battle of 2 top 6 sides who neither have tasted victory in each of their last 3 games. This will taste sweet for Avondale if they can hang on here and get the win against another top 6 contender, as we see a yellow card showing the way of Burkhan Kurdar for offering a little bit of advice perhaps to referee Declan Woods. So you just wonder how much added time we'll see at the end of the 90 here. There might not be a heap. We haven't had too many delays. No goals scored in the second 45. No injury delays either. Yusuf Ahmed and now Dan Edwards trying to get around Reardon, and it runs out of play. Reardon's turn to play ball boy down here as they try and get the ball up the park as quick as they can here, Hume. They need to get the ball forward. They need to get some bodies forward as well. This is a real good test for Nick Hegarty's boys here against one of the yardsticks of the competition. And they might be able to find a way through here. It's opening up for them. Mehmet Usal. Motoring forward is Mark Oshieng. The pass just ran a little bit behind him, so they'll allow a bit more time for the defenders to get back. He's got Wellsmore to beat. Over near the turnstiles there. And the spectators entered the gate earlier tonight hoping for an entertaining contest. Well, that they've had. But the home side got a little bit more work to do here. Here's Kurdar. Raking switch of play to Lloyd Isgrove. What a ball that was by Kurdar. In by Isgrove. Harker was the target. It's away by Kalalu Kamara. Anywhere will do as far as the Avondale defence was concerned there. An awkward clearance. It didn't sit up very well, but Kamara was able to get the penetration on the kick, even though he looks like he was horribly off balance. There's Oshieng showing a bit of flair over there with the trickery, and he combines with Ishak, and now Kurdar. Usal, he's been really good since coming on. He's gone to ground. He's tripped up on his shoelaces there. Reardon. And the switch of play was directed straight into the path of the waiting Hayden Bryce, and it's out of play off Ishak, and you can see the frustration on the face of Harry Ashcroft. He's worked really hard out there in midfield, and then now shuttling back into central defence. have just joined us, it was a Nation Ishak own goal on 20 minutes for Stefan Zinni, made it 2 on 35, and then on 38 minutes it was a goal for the new signing Mason Tatafu, the central defender for Hume City, making things interesting. That they still are now. Avondale have looked fairly comfortable for large portions of this second half and could have probably got things back to that 2-goal cushion that they enjoyed for only a few moments in the latter stages of that first half. But nonetheless, still we go on with that 1-goal cushion only, and they've created a couple of half chances in recent moments, Hume City. And look at this space for Kurdar, who's able to turn and face Portal. He's lost his rag a little bit here as Burkan Kurdar. He's lashed out at Luca Tavir, and he has to be careful because he's only just been booked. It was an intentional foul by Tavir. There's no sanctions for Kurdar. And Tavir, after picking up that yellow card, is going to be withdrawn here, and it's an opportunity for the veteran defender Matthew Reid. Approaching 150 games in NPL Victoria, the 29-year-old. Featured just 5 times this year, makes his 9th appearance of the season as a substitute tonight in the closing stages. Ball into the box. It was by Mehmet Usa looking for Harker. Good work by 4th official Daniel Woodyard down there, indicating 5 added minutes. So there's time and there's hope for Hume. Sion Cuba was the only player outside the penalty area. He's making his way back. Manos came to claim. He might have collected his teammate Yusuf Ahmed in the back of the head there. Gets the apologies from the Avondale custodian. No harm done. Yusuf Ahmed tasked with defending that front post area. Not long to go here now. I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast. Steve Curtin with you. Shout out to Bernard on the camera, who's been giving you the very best look at the action from the comfort of your own home, the comfort and warmth of your own home tonight. It's a little dink by Weir. It hangs in the air. Ishak, who's miscued that one. Cuba's going to be onside hits. Sion Cuba, he couldn't direct his attempt goal bound. Ashcroft was back to mop up, but his clearance is only as far as Carpenter. Can Avondale kill it off here through Tchaikovsky? Challenged by O'Kane to force him back. Edwards again directing traffic as he receives the ball. Bryce. Kamara. Go all the way back to Manos. Puts his foot through that one. Going out of play. Oshieng was certainly hoping it would, as he screams for the spare football to be delivered his way by the security guard there on the halfway line, taken quickly by Oshieng. As we said, it's just 5 minutes is the nominal added time, of which we've already played 2 minutes, so there's not too long here for Hume. Avondale winning this fixture 8 times in a row since Hume was last able to share the spoils with Avondale. Looks like it's going to be another one added to that streak. If the scoreline can stay like this, they're not far away, Avondale. They're going to be sitting top of the ladder tonight at least until Heidelberg get their chance to go back to the top tomorrow. Here's Cuba. He's been searching for that goal all night and he's been denied by Michael Weir. Well, he's made a bunch of saves tonight, Michael Weir. That one with his feet. A reflex save. Just about as good as any of the earlier ones as well. Really good save to deny Blake Carpenter not long after Carpenter had come on too. Earlier in this second half. Well, Avondale are going to take their time over this corner kick, but they're going to get the hurry up here from referee Woods. There's two of them standing over it. And with only Courtney Perkins in the box, you fancy this one will not be going into the mixer. The yellow card is out. Looks like it's gone to Sian Cuba for time wasting. And it's going to be Cuba and Ahmed trying to hold the ball into the corner. Turning into a bit of a wrestling match down there. It's out of play, and goal kick is the decision, which Hume are thankful about. They can try and get the ball up the park. They've got about a minute left. They're going to have to go quickly. Looking further afield. Wall of white shirts to play through here. It's going to need a bit of individual brilliance to find a way through. Big challenge by Wellsmore on Oshieng. Felt that one too, Mark Oshieng. Not long back from a bit of a hamstring niggle. He feels like he's been totally cleaned up there. He's back up on his feet. There's no time to feel sorry for yourself here. Hume got to go for it. Good flick on by Reardon, and Oshieng. Oh, he's just a bit slow to react there again, and Wellsmore was quick to seize on the opportunity. O'Kane and Courtney Perkins, two of the substitutes in this match. Oshieng gets it into the box. Ishgrove to the back post. Can he knock it down for Harker? Well, that was the moment for Hume. Really good switch of play. Oshieng drilled it in. Great knockdown. Lloyd Ishgrove right on the right wavelength to find Rob Harker. Great knockdown. He got his right boot through it, through the laces, the volley. Both feet up off the ground, and it was just past the post, and Tom Manos not required to make the save. Well, what a sting in the tail that would have been. But Avondale get themselves back on the winners list after 3 consecutive draws. They climb to the top of the live ladder in NPL Victoria, with Heidelberg United the chance to go back to the top of the tree tomorrow when they take on Altona Magic at Paisley Park. But it's a well-earned 3 points here for this Avondale side. They look like they were skipping away, running away with the lead, as they do so often. When we saw that own goal by Ishak on 20 minutes, and then Stefan Zinni looking like a player who's getting his confidence back. They managed 10 attempts on goal on the equaliser. Well, not the equaliser. The first goal of the night that Hume was able to muster up was that header by Mason Tatafu, the new signing, the West Aussie, coming back from a stint in the United States. Gets his first goal. 10 attempts on target. 10 saves by Michael Weir, who had a busy game in goal. 5 saves by Tom Manos. And, well, if that is a preview of what we're set to see in the NPL Victoria finals in about a month and a half's time, we're going to be thoroughly entertained when finals football comes around. Thanks for your company